that small. Certainly not anybody that's grown man size. It's just uncalled for.
Yeah. Maybe you're not a grown man.
Oh, no, it definitely grown man. My feet hanging off the edge. It's ridiculous.
Be a growing boy.
Unbelievable. Welcome to the show. Welcome to one of the Firehouse episodes of One Last Take. And this is an appropriate show for an appropriate day for appropriate things that have taken place since we last graced the mics. I'm your host with the most, Rubizmo the Gizmo, joined once again by the co-host nominee, the nominated co-host of the year, PsychoGeno.
PsychoGeno, here, present. I am here.
This was a mandate episode.
Mm-hmm.
There were people who had to have a Firehouse episode come out after the recent transpirings of this week's past Thursday night football game between the Steelers and the Browns.
Which is rare because it's a Thursday night game, and it was talked about afterwards.
Yeah, there's actually discussion.
A major discussion.
Incredibly large discussion. Incredibly large. There are a lot of different people saying a lot of different things. Mm-hmm. And considering that our podcast speaks for the common man.
What?
I speak for the common man.
That was the what. The what was because the things you say are not the common man.
The voice of the voiceless. And I'm stunned by some of the things that I'm hearing on TV.
Whoa.
Talking heads.
Let's tell the folks what happened in case they don't know.
Absolutely want to get to it. And this is important, though, because I think you and I actually might be on the same page for once.
We have not discussed how we feel about the moment, about what happened, the game, and the, what do you want to call it?
The event?
The brouhaha.
Brouhaha.
Of what took place. So
you want to go ahead and give them the breakdown?
No. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Should I cover the whole game?
I'll give you the importance.
Yeah. I'll give you the importance. Rundown.
Let's go with the game. Yeah.
Simple game.
Let's break down the game. Let's break down the game.
Simple game. Okay. Steelers, Browns. Steelers coming in with their backup quarterback, Mason Rudolph. Baker Mayfield playing terribly. Still can't find my boy Odell Beckham to save his life.
He found him in opening drive.
I got excited coming into this game. Because, again, not just opening drive. I think it was like the second play. A bomb over the top to Odell.
Opening drive.
Wonderful catch by Odell. Great job. Good tackle. I thought he scored.
Yeah.
And I should have known that because I have him on so many teams.
You think it was because of you he didn't get in?
The incredible amount of jinx that has been flowing through my veins and thereby my players' veins this season has been unparalleled.
You know, it's funny. You say you feel jinxed. I think it's what you deserve for drafting OBJ so high.
I would disagree. Of course you would. Speaking to the man who took Baker Mayfield as high as he could possibly.
But see, quarterback is such an easy position to replace. I can just drop him. Mm-hmm. You are stuck with OBJ the whole year.
And he should have had a touchdown this game.
Should have, could have, would have.
And of course, the referees review it, and he's short at about the inch-yard line.
It's automatically reviewed. They did
scoring
their
plays
job.
are auto-reviewed.
Yeah.
Sometimes things are not overturnable. The ruling on the field stands. It's not confirmed. It just stands. There's not enough evidence to say one way or the other. But let it go.
That does not apply to a scoring play.
Elsa said, let it go. Come on, officials. Let it go.
I am excited for Frozen 2.
I am too. I love the previews I've seen in the theaters. But
I'm avoiding them.
That distracts us from the point here. So Baker takes it in, gets his score. Fine and
QB
dandy.
scramble.
I don't want to go play by play.
He gets too excited sometimes for me. Like, how excited can you really be for getting in at the 1?
You know what? When you're the Browns, every score is a big score.
That's true.
The next, the Browns' defense was sensational all game long. I just want to say that right off the bat. They're tremendous all game long, smothering, just enveloping, and it was just the best performance by the Cleveland Brown defense this year. And again, as luck has, I cut the Cleveland Brown defense at about 5-10 right before the game started to pick up Carolina.
And who the Panthers taking on?
I forget. I forget who they're taking on at the time. At the time, it seemed like a brilliant decision.
Are they taking on the Falcons?
I think it might be the Falcons. Or is it the Saints? You know what? It's irrelevant. It's absolutely irrelevant. That's who they're taking on. A whole boat of nobody. It is the Falcons. That's right. No Devonta Freeman, no Austin Hooper, Matt Ryan doing Matt Ryan things, whatever.
They still have Julio.
Yeah.
And Julio was known for going off on the Panthers.
Yeah. Again, I didn't want to deal with Thursday night nonsense. You know how Thursday nights can be a little wonky sometimes. I said, these are must-win games in a particular league, and I could not risk it with the Cleveland Browns. And turns out Cleveland showed up in a big way.
Silly? Yeah, Thursday night at home against a scrub quarterback.
You know the worst part about it? I'm playing you this week.
Oh.
And I would have hit
I have no idea.
with that haymaker of the Cleveland Browns right across the...
Are you really playing me?
I am playing you this week. And I didn't know that till I had checked the line. I said, oh, look at here. Which is why not having played the Cleveland defense hurts so much more.
Which league? Which league?
In the big one. In our biggest.
They're both money leagues.
Oh, hey. The one that is biggest and most important to me.
I don't
know. The jinxes have flown.
I don't know. I don't know. Which one is? Oh, this is the one where you're struggling.
This is the one where I'm on the outside looking in.
So one league, you're like first place.
The only league that I'm not in first place is this one.
How many leagues are you in? Four
leagues.
So 3 out of 4, you're in first place.
I've got good teams. I'm a very good fantasy football player.
I don't know
drafter,
about that.
manager.
From what I can tell, I mean, you're
this league sucks.
You're okay.
I got like 3 losses by less than 5 points. It's the dumbest league in the world. Anyway, this isn't about my personal failures. You know, this show isn't about my personal failures.
I mean, I'm fine with hearing about the personal failures against me.
There's a play they call for an end zone first and goal from about the 4 or 5. They call a simple play Landry on a slant where no Steeler decides to pick him up, and he just is open as the day is long. Easy play.
I thought it was a play action, though, wasn't it?
It still could have been run for Odell. Could have been run for anybody. This is an easy play.
Yeah, but Jarvis is the number one.
Evidently. He wouldn't be if they throw a few more to Odell. But this isn't about, they got guys catching touchdowns in this game who had never caught a pass that year. He's catching touchdowns in the back of the end zone because Baker just feels comfortable throwing it to him. It's ridiculous. Either way, that's the Cleveland Browns offensive side of the ball. Also, quick note, Nick Chubb had like 26, 27 carries. At the end of the game, I said, when? Because I watched that game. I swear, after maybe the first
26 carries?
He was chunking up carries. That's what I said. How? When? Where was I when he was getting all these carries? I was aware he's an effective runner. He's run well all year. But the fact that he was just constantly just being fed the ball was surprising. 27 carries, 92 yards.
That's a good game.
It's a great. Well, it's not a great game. It's a good game.
It's a good game.
Getting the end zone would be a great game. But 27 carries? I don't remember that.
I'm happy in the other league, Kung Fu Kirby. Mm-hmm. I started Jalen, forgetting about Connor. Like I knew, but I started him. It was a good start.
Yeah, it turned out to be. I like the other backup, Kareem Hunt, who in that same league I picked him up off the wire. Kareem Hunt looked good. He looks real good.
He's got fresh legs.
They show because he looks strong. He's got good hands. He looks good. I like when they're both on the field. It's kind of a dynamic offense.
Maybe that's what they needed.
It might be. They needed the maturity of Kareem Hunt to really settle that team down.
Let's stick on that maturity.
Let's stick on that today. So that's the Cleveland Browns offensive side of the ball. Defensively, again, as we said, they were swarming all game long, all over Mason Rudolph. I don't know if they crossed the 50-yard line in the first half. He threw several picks in this game. They were just bad throws. They knocked out Juju. I think 3 guys at one time hit him in the head, gave him a concussion, knocked him out. Deontay Johnson knocked him out with a missile hit right to his head along the sideline. They said his ear was bleeding when they got the helmet off. I didn't need to see right before commercial them taking the helmet off and him standing there on the side like laying down like I didn't need to see that.
You need to see the violence.
Cut to commercial.
You need to see how violent this game is.
Get that to Joe Buck in the booth. Get that to Troy Aikman up top and say it looks bad, folks. We'll be back.
I'm tired of Joe.
You're not alone. Better than Booger. I'll take 1,000 Joes before one Booger. Unbelievable. So
some of the things he says just doesn't sound right.
How do they get those jobs? I feel like it's a good old boy club. Like you have to have played to get it.
Of course it's a good old boy club.
It's unfair.
But Booger he breaks down film. He's good at what he does, just not TV. I don't think he's good to be in the booth.
I guess. So be it. So what we have is Mason Rudolph looks terrible. The running game could have been better. However, they lost James Conner, again, injury. That man cannot stay healthy to save his life. Looks like Le'Veon Bell made it look easy carrying all the load all these years.
Oh, he had touches a game. So
he got 42 touches. The man was constantly touching the ball. James Conner can't get 10 touches without getting hurt.
This is true.
I mean, he beat leukemia. My man cannot beat soft muscle because it is constantly winning the battle. The war of attrition, as it were.
So carry on.
So, long story short, Browns are dominating. The Steelers do manage to get 1 touchdown, which is okay. But
Samuels. Great game.
Yeah, it was a little check down pass, right? Good play.
Tud's a tud.
Tud's a tud. The game finishes at 21-7, but as the game is in its waning moments,
Yeah. Here we go.
As the game is in its waning moments, we have a play. It's 21-7. Pittsburgh has the ball around their own 20-yard line or so, and they call just a simple pass off to the left, like a screen pass to the Jalen Samuels or something off to the left.
You know what? I'm going to stop you right here.
Go ahead.
This is something that actually pisses me off.
Mm-hmm.
When a team is winning, let's say the Steelers had the ball. I'm sorry, the Browns had the ball, and they were trying to score it. Teams, players, coaches would say it's disrespectful.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're down 2 scores, less than a minute, less than 30 seconds,
Right.
just kneel. Why don't you do it?
So it's about play execution, I think, at that point. Well, first of all, I don't think that players and coaches say it's disrespectful to score. Some players think you play to the whistle. 21-7 is not a game over. There are things you want to still work on. There are plays you want to try to get right. And as the team that's losing, there are certain things you want to try to execute. You want to have a good thing to go out on.
The game is over. Let's just kneel and let's just go home.
At this point, it's just about maintaining the integrity of the game. Everyone's I'm gonna push you out of bounds.
But that's not the integrity, because if the Browns had the ball and they were trying to run it up, people would be upset.
People get upset, but I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
So that's what I'm talking about. People getting upset.
Right, but there's a difference. But people get upset about a lot of things. People get upset, because it's sunny, not windy. Like I don't care what people get upset about. Right and wrong is what matters. And in this case, like
what they did was wrong. Kneel. But carry on. The Steelers
the Browns are wrong. They were just running the clock out, right? Because the Steelers had timeouts. So if the other team is going to take timeouts, if a team is up and the other team has no timeouts inside 2 minutes, they'll take the knee as soon as they get that first down. Like that happens. The offense won't continue to keep running plays. They're just taking knees. But if you're calling timeouts, then I have to keep running the ball.
Did they call timeouts?
If I'm not mistaken,
Why would the Steelers call timeout?
To keep up the integrity of the game.
Man, all right. So the Steelers have the ball. Last play.
The last play that we're seeing at the moment, and as I said, it's a simple screen pass to the left. You all have seen the video footage by now. You don't need me to go back through play a second by second. But for those of you who haven't, it's a simple pass out to the left. He catches it, runs out of bounds, nothing big. You hear some whistles blowing. You finally turn around the camera, and you see a scuffle happening.
No. A brouhaha.
Happening where one of the Steeler linemen is pushing back Myles Garrett from the Cleveland Browns, their best defensive player, team captain, pushing him back toward the end zone. They're both standing up at each other. Another lineman is in the vicinity, and I see Mason Rudolph without a helmet charging at him, at which point Myles Garrett takes the helmet of Mason Rudolph, which he's currently holding in his hands for some reason, and like a hammer, nailing a stake into a train track, proceeds to swing over the top and club Mason Rudolph in the head with the bottom of the helmet.
Great connection.
It caught him right on the top of the skull. And Mason throws his hands up and looks at the official like, "Hey, you can't do that."
Yeah.
At which point, after the connection, was it Marcus Pouncey? Mike Pouncey. Mike Pouncey, the center for the Steelers, who has run into the vicinity of the particular brouhaha, begins to immediately throw haymakers one after another. Like this is just a prison, jump at this point. Haymaker after haymaker. The other aforementioned offensive lineman for the Steelers just drags down Myles Garrett almost by the throat, lays on top of him.
Yeah.
At which point, Pouncey goes around to the side, starts throwing punches at the head, kicking him in the head while he's on the ground and can't move, and throwing more punches. Mason Rudolph standing there helmetless. Cleveland's Brown defensive lineman, whose name escapes me at the moment.
It's
it's an African name. That's why it escapes me. If his name was John Smith, I'd have remembered it. The African named lineman comes and just blasts Mason Rudolph from behind.
I give him a little love tap.
I give him a little love tap, and there's just a huge scuffle that happens at that point. It turns out to take about 15-20 minutes to clear everything up. Players are ejected, of course. The Steelers run one more play, take a kneel down. The Browns have to come out, run a play because it was fourth down when they took the knee, so it didn't actually run the clock. I thought the coaches would have just said after the scuffle, that's fine, end the game. Let's just go to our locker rooms. But they can't do that. They can't technically do that.
Betting's going on.
You got to finish it off. How many plays, how many kneel downs, all that stuff. So the game ends, and thus begins the greatest night on Twitter for NFL since Monday night, when it was all positive. This is the opposite. This is all negative.
So what
press.
is you think we will agree? I don't know.
Well, people have heard a lot from me. I want to hear your take.
What? People have heard a lot from you.
I did all the talking so far. I carried it. I have carried them. They're tired of my voice. They want to hear what your take is. Because as I said, I suspect that you and I are on the same page on this. And so I'm anxious to hear what your actual take is. This is, again, first time I'm seeing you since the incident. So I'm anxious to hear.
Okay, so the game's over. Typically you might walked away at that point. You might say this game is a wrap. It's getting kind of late, depending upon what city and state you live in. So I see it happening. I see Myles fall on top of Mason Rudolph, getting a little rough and tough with him
after he threw the pass.
Mason tries to rip off the helmet of Myles, and Myles then proceeds to successfully remove the helmet of Mason's by picking him up helmet. Mason had no choice but to stand up with him, and the helmet was removed. And then when Myles getting pushed back by the Steelers O lineman, Mason comes running towards Myles, and Myles, as Ruben said, struck him like a hammer to a stake on a railroad track. Yep. My thoughts? Everything about that was great right up until he struck him with the helmet. I was fine with everything. Why was I fine with it? Because you know what? Myles Garrett is he's a rough, tough kind of dude. He's kind of a nerd. He likes reading about dinosaurs and plays video games and works out. He doesn't even go out and party with his boys. That's fine. Apparently Mason said some things to him. He kicked him or hit him in the groin area. So it's all fine. And then Mason tried to rip off this. I'm watching the replay. Mason is trying to remove the helmet of Myles. Why? What in your right mind tells you can do this? So Myles said, okay, so this is how we're going to get down. All right, little man, let me show you how to remove a grown man's helmet. Fine by me. And then Mason, being pissed off, knowing he's got his O-lineman around him, charges at Myles. What are you doing, Mason? What do you think is going to happen? Do you think that Myles isn't going to do anything to you? Or are you doing this because you got your big boys right there pushing Myles back? Honestly, I think that Mason... in fact, I'm extremely pissed off and disappointed in the NFL for not suspending Mason. In fact, Mason's...
suspensions came out. You're right. Myles gets suspended indefinitely.
Yeah.
Certainly through the end of the season and playoffs included if they make it. Pouncey gets 3 games, and the other Browns African defender who hit Mason got 3 games, if I'm not mistaken.
I thought he got 1.
Oh, well, you're right. It is 1. He just got 1 game.
And Mason got off.
They said possible fines coming.
Wait, he's not even going to get a fine?
Right.
NFL, what are you doing? Are you serious? This man, okay, this is why I'm upset. Right. Imagine in this world right here. Everything happens. Mason tries to rip off the helmet. Unsuccessful. Myles rips his off. Mason gets up. And he swings like he wanted to towards Myles. And he hits him. Myles does not retaliate. The last thing we see is Mason striking Myles Garrett in the helmet. Mason looks at the crowd, like shrugs his shoulders like, come on, man, get this guy. With his helmet in his hand. What goes through everyone's mind? Mason Rudolph should be suspended. How dare him strike this guy? What are you doing? You know what they would say? They would say this word right here. You're lucky he didn't hit you with your helmet.
That's what they
would say.
That's what they would say.
And then Mason would be suspended. Myles wouldn't be the bad guy right now. But because he struck him, which is something we've never seen before.
Right.
Myles is the bad guy. Mason Rudolph should be suspended. I loved every minute. One, maybe 2.
1 game. Okay.
1 full game.
So you're okay with all the other suspensions, though?
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course.
All right. And if there was a blame pie, if you're gonna do percentages on sort of what happened here and who instigated and who of all the people involved sort of deserved blame for the brouhaha that ensued, how would you break that pie down?
Of everyone?
I guess there's only 4 main actors. There's the 3 Steelers. And
the others are just reacting. I think this boils down to Mason and Myles. Everyone else is trying to protect Mason.
50-50.
Everyone's just trying to protect Mason. Everyone was just trying to protect Mason. No, it's not 50-50.
What's the breakdown?
I want to say 65-35.
For who?
In favor of Mason.
Mason 65?
Mason 65. Myles falls on top of you. Okay, get off of me. Fuck. I'm not getting off of you. Blah, 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 blah. And then he tried to rip off his helmet. I am bigger than you. I'm stronger than you. Why are you trying to rip off my helmet? Myles is the big brother. Mason's the little guy. That day he decided, I'm fighting big brother. Mm-hmm. So Myles showed you what it's like when you fight the big bro. You put hands on me, I'm put hands on you.
Yeah.
You try to rip my helmet off, I'm going to show you how to do it. This is how you do it, young man. You come running at me, I'm going to bop you on your head. Stop.
I'm going to bop you on your head. I want to take a note. Aaron, can you put a timestamp here? It's a 20-minute mark. I want this noted, and I want this officially in the docket forever, for all eternity. That's the day that we completely agree on something.
Are you serious?
I had a feeling that we would agree on this 100%. The only thing I don't agree with is your suspension.
You can't say 100%.
I agree with your general take. The suspension approval. Myles Garrett should get a suspension of 0 games.
Oh, come on now.
0
now
games.
We disagree.
Because there is an NFL rule in place.
Oh, that rule does not apply to when a guy is not wearing a helmet.
Yes. Absolutely applies for when a person is not wearing a helmet.
It does?
Absolutely.
Article
17, Rule 12, Section 2, Article 17 of the NFL Rulebook, which is what we use here, says use of helmet as a weapon. A player may not use a helmet that is no longer worn by anyone as a weapon to strike, swing at, or throw at an opponent. That's exactly what happened here.
Yeah, but it doesn't say that the opponent doesn't have a helmet on.
Regardless of what, because everyone wears different padding. So you can't base it on what the other person has. You cannot use a helmet as a weapon to swing, strike, or throw at a person. The penalty for illegal use of a helmet as a weapon is loss of 15 yards and automatic DQ from that game.
Yeah.
That happened. Rules are set. He paid the ultimate price for the infraction that he had. Now, if people don't like that, change the rule book. I mean, NFL is a $50 billion a minute company. You could hire 10 or 12 lawyers to go through your rule book and say, hey, maybe we should update these rules from the 1910s. Maybe we should update these rules from when people wore leather helmets back in the day. Because if I smack you with a leather helmet, it's just going to leave a red mark. I smack you with one of these Cyberdyne, advanced system TF1000 helmets.
It might knock you out.
It might knock you out. And we all know Mason Rudolph has a tender head. I saw him get knocked out earlier this year when they took the face mask off of him and the cart they brought out to get him.
Thought that was the jaw. Thought they got knocked out from the jaw.
Whatever. Tender skull. All I know is that they tried to bring a cart to get him off the field, and the cart broke down. That's how bad Mason Rudolph is. The cart quit on him. So this is an incredible turn of events, and it's revealed so much about the way people think. 100%, the pass goes away. Mason throws the pass. Myles Garrett has him wrapped up and takes him to the ground in a safe tackle, one of the safest tackles Myles had had the entire game. He doesn't land on him, and in fact is actually side by side like lovers in a bed, just facing each other as they lay on the ground.
I don't know about that. Now, he was on top of him.
You check the footage when Mason Rudolph begins to decide trying to rip the helmet off for some reason. I mean, Mason had such a bad game, and that's why I want to emphasize. He had such a bad game. He was just mad. He was mad at everything, and he apparently wanted to try to take it out on Myles Garrett. Now, Jimmy Garoppolo was smart enough not to try to take anything out on Jadeveon Clowney on Monday night because he said, I know who I am, and I know how valuable I am. Mason don't care. And I'm tired of this nonsense that, Myles Garrett's just such a big guy. I don't want to hear that.
Nope.
Myles Garrett is younger than Mason Rudolph.
Yeah.
That's a fact. Mason should have more maturity than that. Myles Garrett is 6'4", 270, 265.
You sure he's 4? I thought it was 6'5".
According to the numbers.
I mean, it don't matter. He's a big man.
Everyone knows numbers are, sketchy online. Apparently, NBA players are shrinking every day, apparently. What we see on 6'4", 270, some say 265. Mason Rudolph, 6'5", 240. There's no size difference here. There's no enormous... Is it
really 240? You sure about that 240?
There are several different places you can go to check his weight, check his height. Again, these are the general averages from what I've seen. Very safe. I'm saying the key
I don't know. He looked like a little kid coming after Mason.
He looks like a kid.
After Myles.
He looks like a kid. According to the numbers they put up, he's not that much smaller. This isn't like me beating up a 5-year-old. These are 2 grown men. Secondly, he's trying to rip off Myles Garrett's helmet, which people completely overlook. People have done a great job of completely overlooking it. Some people have even tried to come up with the excuse that he had a finger stuck in the face mask. When? From the moment he threw the ball to the moment he stuck his hand under the helmet.
We saw that he was trying to rip it off.
Clearly was trying to rip it off.
And I'm so glad Myles put him in his place.
Exactly. He tried. Now, as he's trying to rip the helmet off, what they don't want to talk about is the kick to the groin that he gives Myles Garrett. And now Myles said he thought he was kneed in the groin, which it looked like he was. Then you keep watching this further, and you see Mason Rudolph with his right foot and cleat right to the people's jewels of Myles Garrett, right into the groin. At that point, Myles begins to rip the helmet off of Mason Rudolph with much more vigor. Completely appropriate at this point. Completely appropriate. Yeah. Rip it off.
Yeah.
Take an ear with it. You kick me in a particular area, you will pay the price for that. And that's just a punk move by Mason Rudolph. Then, once the helmet is removed, Myles Garrett is backing up, and he's under control by the Steelers lineman.
He's been pushed back and everything.
He's been pushed back. At that point, he's just holding the helmet down, backing up. He's hot. All right, I just got my helmet twisted. I just got kicked. Officials have done nothing at this point. Nothing. Standing right there. They're probably running in there like Kawhi in a pregame. Hey.
But I will say this, though. They're probably not going to catch a kick to the groin.
There's a lot to see. I had to watch it over to see it. Like, they're watching for bigger things. I get it.
Yeah.
But you can stand up and break plays up. They're not going to push an official because they know what that penalty is. That's clear. The play and the moment is over. There's two Steeler linemen back there with Garrett.
Yeah.
This is done. There's 8 seconds left in the game. He's got Mason Rudolph's helmet. They're going to get it from him in a second. He might toss it across the field and get kicked out and pump up the crowd on his way out.
Maybe throw it into the stands.
Who knows? It's a rivalry game, and they just won. He's hyped, and he's probably a little sore. At this point, however, Mason decides, I'm going to escalate it. Take it to the next level. I'm going to the next level, and decides to charge right at my man.
Charge. What are you doing?
Full speed at him, and starts grabbing him on the shoulder pads, and I'm not sure what he's trying. Accosting the man is what I'm going to say. He's accosting Myles Garrett over the top. It's like when, you know what this is like? This is like on Jersey Shore one time when Ronnie was on the shore, and one guy was threatening him to a fight, and Ronnie was ready to fight, but the guy's girl kept getting in front of him and kept swinging, and Ronnie's like, I can't get to you because there's somebody big behind you. It was one of those situations where it was like Mason Rudolph was almost like he was hiding behind his lineman and trying to take swipes at Myles Garrett.
He was. I imagine it was like, I'm not lying. I imagine Mason was a woman taking on a man, a bigger man, and once that man hit her back, how dare you?
That's what this looked like.
How dare you?
Did
you see him hit me?
That's
how
exactly
dare
what this
you?
was. And
which again, we're not condoning.
Not condoning. Not condoning.
Not
but
okay.
He provoked it. He provoked the situation, and I'm the bad guy for saying that he provoked it. Stephen A. Smith gets suspended by ESPN for a week because of that bum. Michelle Beadle feels bad that he used the word provoke when referencing a prior domestic violence case involving an NFL player. But I will use it here. I'm not owned by ESPN. Mason Rudolph provoked this attack, clear as day. Clear as day. Okay? He's already ripped my helmet off.
Yep.
Already proved he's a bigger man. Mason tried to do it. He couldn't. Myles said, I'm going to show you how it's done. Game over. The checkers. King me. That's it. He's going to charge behind his man, try to go. Myles Garrett has a helmet and swipes at him. Now, to be fair, Myles Garrett was also being pushed by the Steelers lineman.
Yep.
I can't guarantee he was trying to hit him in the head. I can guarantee he was trying to swing at him.
He was trying to hit him.
Now, what happens if Mason Rudolph wasn't standing there? He swings. Nothing's there. Because Mason Rudolph could be backed by the official saying, Mr. Official, I want him suspended. I want him kicked out of the game. He's got my helmet. I want a binky and a bottle of milk before I go.
Here's my question. What if there's no O-lineman there? You think Mason gets up like that?
Oh, that's what I want to know. I wish we had seen
without if there's no O-lineman, he rips it off and Myles stares at him.
Yeah.
Does Mason get up hot and charge at him? Or does he get up hot and just turns around?
Yeah. And just stand there. That's it. That's all it's
going. He thinks about it wait, should I do this?
That's exactly it. Let me ask you this. If Tom Brady had his helmet ripped off, is he charging my man?
No.
Is any quarterback...
First off, Myles wouldn't do it because Tom's not going to knee him like that. There's respect. There's so much respect. Mason is he's a bum. He's not even he's a first-year starter. This honestly is probably the highlight of Mason Rudolph's career. This is the only reason... By next year, this is the only reason we're going to remember Mason Rudolph.
Yeah, there are two reasons. One, when he got knocked out earlier, and his face mask woke up without a face mask and had to walk off the field.
The knockout's gone. The knockout's deleted.
It's
10 years from now, when Mason Rudolph is walking by me in Target, I'll be like, hey, that's the cowardly guy who went after Myles and got Myles suspended for an indefinite amount of time.
Yeah. That's exactly. Every time we see Mason, he ain't got a helmet. Maybe you should start working on keeping the helmet on, dog. Okay? And that's another thing. After this, I'll keep it going.
The brouhaha.
After the brouhaha, I'm jumping right to the end. They go to the post-game press conference. This punk Mason wants to get up and talk about, this Bush League, it's a complete coward. I was like, you're serious, dog?
I could not believe. Do you say that's what he deserves?
It's a cowardly move.
Oh,
it's a cowardly move.
God. And no one said anything.
They pretended like, yeah, we all agree it's a cowardly move. Nah, bro.
I mean, all right. It is a cowardly move to strike you with the helmet. But what about what you did?
I was like, you kind of were a punk, kicking him in the groin, trying to remove his helmet. You can't get done better. The thing that you were doing and be mad at him. Because, like, it was just, I'm pretty sure it was 3-on-1. Steelers versus Myles Garrett, too.
And when Myles was pinned on by the old lineman on the ground, he did nothing.
He laid flat.
They were striking him.
They were punching him in the face. In the helmet.
And he just laid there.
Now, I want to ask this. How dumb is it to punch somebody in the helmet?
I've been saying that for years.
What is Pouncey doing? Of course, why am I not surprised? Pouncey, the twin of Marquise Pouncey, Marquise. I don't know what to say. I'm just going to say Marcus. I don't have respect for him. The same two twins who wore the free Aaron Hernandez hats and free Aaron Hernandez shirts back when he was locked up.
Yeah, but they ain't know.
Dumb as the day is long. Maybe don't do something if you don't know what's going on. The key here is that I'm not surprised he's the kind of guy that would throw punches at a helmet. That's dumb.
They all do it. Crabtree and Talib did it like that. I mean, that's what you do. In the heat of the moment, they fight like this during almost a training camp.
Now, people say they do fight like this during training. The helmets come off and they'll swing it at players. That is what I heard online. This is not uncommon during practices.
Helmets off swinging?
Swinging helmets. At that point, usually people will start breaking it up and they'll get sent their own way for a minute, either to the locker room or off the
I never understood why you fight your own teammates like that.
I guess you're seeing them every day. I don't know. It's like a testing. I don't know.
Did you ever play football?
No, too small. Wasn't allowed to. I wanted to get out there, rough it up. Probably would have been a wide receiver, maybe a DB. Although I wouldn't have tackled anyone. Would have made financial decisions.
So you are definitely a wide receiver.
Yeah.
You know, I see you as a Reggie Wayne type.
Oh, yeah. Hey.
Catch it and get down.
Great hands. Long career. Marvelous Marvin Harrison taught me a long time ago. You don't need to fight for yards. You know who fought for yards? DK Metcalf on Monday night. Cost him a touchdown.
Don't compare DK and Reggie and Marvin.
I'm saying that the two Hall of Famers didn't fight for yards necessarily. Remember when Reggie Wayne in that AFC Championship game fought for yards against the Patriots and the ball squirted out, went straight up in the air, and thankfully the prayers were answered and it came safely back down.
Fortunate.
Very fortunate. Get down, Reggie. You did the right thing. Always get down. If there's contact coming, does it mean my thin pads and my momentum carry? Nah, we'll get the rest of the yards next play.
Is why I like Steve Smith. Steve Smith was feisty.
Same thing for quarterbacks. Get down.
Oh,
we'll get that next
of course.
play.
Yeah,
everybody get down. If you're an offensive outside of running backs. Get down.
But back to your suspension and the rule. The rule doesn't apply to now with the big not PED, but that is an issue in the NFL.
Don't you dare insinuate that Myles Garrett is on PEDs.
What? No. Oh. I mean, as a whole, no. Myles is. I believe he is clean. No, we're not even done talking about Myles. So we did not like. I meant to say CTE, but with football, they had to do something with the suspension. Mason's comments after the game were trashed. Yeah. I liked the way Myles handled himself after the game.
I thought he did a good job.
It wasn't at the podium.
He wasn't over the top. He realized he'd made a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
And he seemed, as though there was some contrition there. It was more than I saw from Mason, who pretended like he didn't try to rip a guy's helmet off and kick him in the groin and
the
charge him.
reporters didn't even try to antagonize it. They usually try to poke a little bit.
You're in Cleveland. Where the Cleveland hometown at? Someone should have been in there, the Cleveland Sentinel or whatever, the Ohio Times or something. Get in there and ask him some questions. If they'd have had me in the room, I'd have asked him the question. Mason, why are you a punk like that? Why you get knocked down and turn around, look up at the guy and just call him B-word right in his face?
You can't word it that way. You can say, hey, Mason, what made you go after Myles Garrett after he removed your helmet? What were you thinking? That's the kind of question.
Here's an insightful take that I heard from Nick Wright this morning that I thought was really, really good.
Nick Wright of what?
FS1. First Things First, where they've just recently parted ways with Chris Carter. But that's a story for another day.
Yeah, I heard about that. And Stephen A. just got re-signed.
Yeah, I heard he's got a big contract, too.
Did you also hear the Skip Bayless may actually go back to First Take?
What? Don't do it. Don't do it, Skip.
Whoa, do it, Skip.
No.
Yes.
I'm going to be honest with you. Here's what I would honestly like to see. If they could do something like this for charity, put it on both shows, something like that, just almost a pay-per-view style, $2, $3 to watch it. I'd love to see the undisputed team go up against the First Take too. So just in general, because
we've seen Shannon, Skip, and Max, or not Max. We've seen Shannon, Skip.
I want to see the four of them
Stephen
all together at one time.
But Max as well.
Yeah, I'd like to see how they kind of interact with each other because I think that would be just fun to watch. And I
think Skip, Shannon, and Stephen A. would control majority. Max would do his thing. He would just sit back and watch a lot of it.
But I love the logic Max brings to certain situations.
Of course.
But again, I would give $5 to the Jimmy V Foundation or something if they broadcast something like that online or whatever. Just because I think it would be fun to see them all.
It would
interact.
be fun
because I hate that they pretend that they're not. Like, I know you guys know each other. Like, Skip and Steven, I know you're friends in text. Like,
what do you mean? What do you mean? What
like, they just don't even reference. It feels like the two shows pretend they don't exist. It's
they
like,
have to.
Like, when two Marvel comic superheroes come together, like, finally, Batman and Superman are together. I know that's DC, but the point is, you get two superheroes
I thought you were
together.
going the Captain Marvel way.
Oh, hey, I would never reference Captain Marvel in any way, shape, or form other than to say how wretched of a movie it was.
No. I meant how
status.
Shazam used to be Captain Marvel.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Wait, what?
Yeah.
I don't know about this.
Captain Marvel used to be it used to be two Captain Marvels.
Oh.
But then Captain Marvel had to change the name to Shazam
because of copyright situation. Okay.
So that's what you meant, like two things, like they have to like ignore it. No one speaks about it.
No, I just mean like when superheroes team up. That was all. Like, I'm aware that, Iron Man's a hero, and I'm aware that Captain America's a hero, and it just feels really cool when you see them all together at one time. That's all. So I'd like to see, the two. Those are the two highlights, main event flagship shows on both stations. Put them together. They're doing the same thing. They're just fun together. Either way.
Did you see the Iron Man Endgame trailer?
The Iron Man Endgame trailer. I've seen all of the
Well,
the
apparently,
Avengers.
like, there's an afterlife for him.
Oh.
Gotta watch it.
I'm gonna have to see it then.
Anyways, Nick Wright.
Nick Wright this morning on First Things First.
Yeah.
Sans Chris Carter.
Yeah.
He had an insightful take about Baker Mayfield, who was questioned on the field.
Well, that's his homeboy.
Got to talk about him though, and he gave what I thought was the best take on Baker, who, when asked about the incident, was very forthright, saying how ridiculous it was. It was inexcusable.
Can't have it in the game.
Can't have it in the game. It's going to cost the team. He's going to get suspended.
Yeah.
You got to be smarter than that. It was the wrong thing to do.
Yeah.
And it's inexcusable. And that's going to play really well on the morning shows, and that's going to play really well, to the agents and to the GMs, and they're like, he's maturing, he's saying the right things, he's acting the right way. That's what we want in our quarterbacks. So it's going to look right on the morning shows, but in the locker room of Cleveland, that's not going to play well. It's going to look like he turned his back on his team to some degree.
I disagree.
Conversely, the things Baker had been saying about the referees are out to get us and you're asking stupid questions and they're trash, that kind of bravado that people trash him for on the morning shows, I think the locker room loves it. I think they love that kind of swagger that he brings to it. And this is an interesting turn of events.
I disagree.
I felt like he said the right things.
I disagree because even if you saw the after the game where Odell Beckham and Jarvis Landry, they were on the show with Irvin, Steven, my boy Steve Smith, and others. They were okay. So after the game, after the game, the fans are still cheering, but they're still on the field and they got their microphones and they're on TV and they're asking them about the fight. And as Odell Beckham and Jarvis are responding, they're seeing the footage for the first time, and their response was something along the lines of, "Oh man, we can't have that. We can't have that in the game." So they all felt that way, man. No one wants to see. I mean, I don't want to see Myles Garrett strike Mason. Let's not forget how egregious that was. I'm not in any way, shape, or form saying Myles did the right thing, and that's that. I'll stop right there. It was not the right thing.
I'll say he wasn't doing the right thing.
And that's all I got to say about that. So when the players saw it, they reacted in a similar fashion as Baker, man. They all felt as if that was too far.
Man, at what point do you got to defend your teammate, though? Part of me wishes he had got up there and been like, yeah, I didn't see what happened, and just not say anything. I have to. I'll check the tape later. I know it was a great win, and I'm glad that our team defended the home field. We don't take anything from anyone.
Because Baker's not a liar. He's been truthful. He's always been truthful.
Baker's not a liar. This is the same man on film running from cops. Baker's not a liar. I don't know.
That's a coward. That's fight or flight. You can't help it. You know what I'm saying? You think your career may be in jeopardy. You run, and he didn't even get away. Come on, Baker.
He didn't. For the quarterback to get caught by a cop, I need my quarterback to get away from DBs. You can't be getting caught by.
This is true.
By local Joe. Just your local sheriff.
Chief Wiggum should not be catching you, Baker.
In the end, Mason Rudolph should have had about 4 games for instigating the whole thing.
You say about 4 games?
About 4 games.
That's more than everyone else besides Myles Garrett.
Myles Garrett would have none. If you wanted to give him 1 game because this was excessive and above and beyond what even the rule book said,
yeah, it is.
Maybe give him 1. But if there is a rule in place, I'm abiding by the rules. Right?
The rule's outdated.
If I hit the quarterback low, it's a 15-yard penalty. Next play. You can't then be like, you know what? I didn't like the way you hit him low. And I kind of feel like in this day of, dislocating patellas, I'm going to suspend you for 2 more on top of that. Like,
No,
wait a minute now.
Not with the CTE.
Then why do we have rules?
You got the movie with, what was the Will Smith movie?
Concussion.
Yeah, Concussion.
Did
Tell
you
the
see it?
truth. Tell the truth. Yeah, I saw it.
Did you like his accent?
Yeah. Look, man. Will Smith is still box office, but the quality of movies he's putting out is going down.
I had no problem with Concussion.
I mean, this may be it. Bad Boys
Gemini
3
Man?
may be it for me.
Bad Boys.
I may no longer feel the need to go see a Will Smith film.
Bad Boys. What you going? I just watched Bad Boys 2 this past weekend.
Oh yeah,
I'm ready
Gabrielle?
for it. Yeah. No, not a big fan of Gabrielle Union.
Why?
I think she's made too much of.
What?
I think people make too much of her.
Is she attractive?
She's pretty.
Is she?
That's what I'll give you. She's pretty.
Does she look better than your girl from Star Wars?
Don't you dare. I'm not even gonna.
Does she look better? What's her name? What's her name?
No.
What is her name?
I'm not
I can't even remember the broad's name. Response. You got Mila Kunis, and what is her name?
The disrespect
What is her name? God, what? It's Black Swan. What is her name, man? I'm not even lying. What is
the
her
Americans
name?
who know Natalie Portman is better looking, but
Whoa. Natalie Portman is better looking?
yes, prettier face.
Prettier face than Gabrielle Union.
Yeah.
Her boy.
Yeah. I didn't say again, Gabrielle Union is pretty.
You know what? I'm gonna just stick to a
What we have here. You okay? You okay? You guys get a chance to hear firsthand the official mascot of One Last Take. Our dog here. Okay, you done? Okay, there it is. The first appearance. You know what? Jay-Z and Beyonce recorded a song after Blue Ivy was born, and the cries of the baby were like the youngest recording artist ever to reach platinum. So the Blue Ivy gets credit for being like a platinum artist as an infant, as an hour old or whatever she was. Official dog of the One Last Take has now made their appearance, and they get credit for being.
You know why she's
mascot.
coughing like that? Because
you're taking on Gabrielle.
In reverse, the ridiculous statement that Natalie Portman looks better than Gabrielle. But anyways,
are we going to cover all the games? I mean, we've got time. I'm already in football mode. I'm already deep. We could save it for another episode. We could save it. I can just jump into the main event games right now because there's one game that spotlights this entire weekend.
Let me guess. Texans-Ravens?
Texans-Ravens. Spotlight. Okay? Bright and centralized. I'm so excited for this game. I am so excited for this game. I said that, again, Ravens-Patriots game of the year. Niners Seahawks became the new game of the year. And officially, this game will be good. Not the game of the year.
Whoa. This was the game of the year last night, the Steelers-Browns.
This was the action of the year, for sure. What's your general take? You know what? Forget that. You can go second. I'll go first. I am excited to see the Baltimore Ravens take on a legitimate offense because I think their defense is suspect. I think they were exposed by the Browns a while ago and then just really haven't had to put up or shut up since then for a little bit of time. And I don't count the Patriots game. Okay? I'm just going to tell you right now, I don't count the Patriots game because I think the Patriots are frauds. You know that.
But they're not. They're Super Bowl champions.
I stand by what I said.
Super Bowl champs. Put some respect on their name.
After they played the Browns and got trampled, they went to Pittsburgh. Almost blew that game in overtime. Then they got the Bengals. Easy work. Then they got the Seahawks in what I told you would be Russell Wilson's first bad game, and he had it. So I'm almost not even counting that game.
The game definitely counts.
Then we had the Patriots, who frauds, I already told you, and then the Bengals. So I believe in the Texans. I said Deshaun Watson was an MVP candidate.
Oh, yeah, the Texans winning?
I just said I believe in the Texans. Here's the problem with the Texans. I'll tell you the problem. You remember when you're listing the top 5 coaches?
Yeah.
You know who wasn't anywhere near the top 5 of that list?
I don't know. Your list was already
Bill O'Brien.
Hate your list.
Bill O'Brien belongs nowhere near a coaching whistle. This guy,
what? He's top 15 for me.
He's awful. He is one of the worst coaches in the NFL. To have so much talent on his team and to get such little production out of it.
So much
He's
talent.
going to squander Deshaun Watson's best years. Best years. His receiving core,
4
Will Fuller,
offensive players,
Kenny Stills,
healthy offensive players on the Texans.
I mean, I'm not even getting to DeAndre Hopkins. I'm not talking about Carlos Hyde. I'm not talking about Duke Johnson.
Carlos Hyde and Duke Johnson.
They had
dropping
Lamar.
their names.
Did they have Lamar Miller before this?
Let me.
What do you do?
Let me say this much. I know damn well you don't think Lamar Miller is a top running back.
I'm saying that there is. I mean, I'm not going to not say he's a top running back necessarily. He can't show anything with Bill O'Brien as his coach. And what did Todd Gurley do with Jeff Fisher?
Oh, you are not saying
What did Todd Gurley
that
do with
Bill
Jeff
O'Brien
Fisher?
is Jeff Fisher-ish.
Very Jeff Fisher-ish. Very Jeff Fisher-ish. He's got smells like 8-8.
Nah. That's disrespectful to Bill O'Brien. He's more creative than Jeff Fisher ever was.
The defense is awful for Houston.
Yeah, it is.
But I think the defense is awful for Baltimore as well. I don't think
awful.
I think the defense is going to get exposed.
Then why did you think Russell was going to have an awful game at home against the Ravens defense? That's awful.
It was an emotional game. Return of Earl Thomas.
Me-
I thought there would just be a lot. It just felt it in the air. For me to have been Russell Wilson's main supporter fan for the past 2, 3, 4, 5 years.
I thought that was Cam Newton.
I love you. I am. Cam is number one, but I was also the main fan for Russell Wilson. That doesn't mean that
Cam
Russell
is
was
number
my number
one.
That doesn't mean Russell was my number one.
Cam
was just my favorite. He's my best friend. All right, we talk all the time. We've talked several times on the phone. So he's always, of course, Cam over everything. That's kind of how it goes when you know somebody like that. If you were a successful quarterback,
saying you know Cam.
if you were a successful quarterback, I would pull for you over everyone.
But you don't know Cam like you know me.
Yeah, that's why he would fall behind you in the pecking order. I don't know Russell Wilson at all. We've hung out before. We've
hung out with Russell Wilson.
Russell Wilson and I have attended the same church sessions before. I'm just saying, I have supported Russell Wilson as the best quarterback in football for several years.
Hold up
I
now.
could feel it coming.
Sharing the same breath in the church is not the same as hanging out with him.
I could feel this bad game coming is my point. And I said it on the podcast. Listeners can go back and listen.
We heard you.
And I said, and he had a bad game. So that's why I'm not counting it. It didn't feel like a good game. It felt like a trap game to me. This doesn't.
A trap game at home.
The Ravens are favored to win this game, but I'm not sure I like that. All right. They're favored by 4.5.
You don't like that?
I think I like the Texans to win this game outright.
I disagree.
Outright.
I disagree. We have a friendly wager already, right?
We do. We
For
have
the
a dinner
dinner.
on something.
What was it on?
I don't remember. Aaron, search the tapes and write it down. I thought we were making a board. Why do we have? Here's the question, Aaron. I just want. Don't turn the mics on. They don't need to hear anything. I just want nods and head shakes. Did we or did we not give you an opportunity?
Yeah, we definitely did. I would
Have
say
you
we did.
performed amicably? Could you do better? Yes. That's all we're asking. So far, the official dog of One Last Take has had more influential impacts on this.
But you know what? It just came to me.
Right.
We have time. It was the Patriots going within the next 4 games.
Oh,
2-2. Then I get my
That was
dinner.
the over under on 2 and 2.
Yeah.
There it is. I'm glad somebody's doing their job. You're sending out stuff. Forget it. I like the Texans to win this game, and I think that people have forgotten how good Deshaun Watson is because he was gone for a week, which it happened.
By people, you mean you?
You and the people of your ilk. I had him as my number 1, number 2 coming into last week, and then things happened, and he fell down to about number 3 or 4. Things happen, but I think he reestablishes himself. I think he shows up big time in this game.
Big time.
And I'm anxious to see what happens. Lamar, if he has to actually throw the ball consistently, I don't know if he's got it in him anymore.
Is there any other game you're looking forward to?
The Cowboy games are always fun games to
What
get.
in the world? What are you talking about? Matt Stafford's not even going to play in that Lions game.
Does not matter to me, and I'll tell you why. This is about Ezekiel Elliott.
This is about your fantasy football team?
That's exactly what this is about.
My gosh.
This is about Ezekiel Elliott. I'm looking for him to go for about $125 and
Are you
2.
playing with me? Am I playing against
Different
Zeke?
league?
Okay.
Different league. You get a little bit of Levy on.
Don't tell me. I don't want to know who not to watch go off.
And Melvin Gordon.
Come on, man.
Enjoy that.
Actually, I'm actually telling me this makes me think I'm going to win.
Enjoy that. Get a big dose of that. No, I'm excited. The Cowboy team is teetering on the edge of atrocity right now. The Lions should not win this game. They should not be close to winning this game. But the way that the Cowboys have managed to find ways to lose games, it seems like they should be winning, is very interesting to me. And their limited ability to use Ezekiel Elliott, beyond the fact that he is my fantasy running back, that is, taken aside. He's one of the top 5 backs in football, paid like the number 1 back in football.
Le'Veon Bell is not one of the top 5.
I said Ezekiel.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
And that's arguable. But Ezekiel's paid like one of the top back in football. They refuse to use him on a consistent basis.
He had over 100 yards. What are you talking about?
Not last week.
Yeah, but before that, he was doing
He only
just
had like
fine.
3 out of 4 and no touchdowns. I'm anxious to see if he actually gets going. Not to mention, Skip Bayless called him out, basically called out his mama. Okay, Mama Zeke. Did you see a tweet from Mama Zeke?
You know I didn't.
Yeah, you don't keep up with that stuff. Well, they had like a filter where you could put on like Ezekiel's beard and hair and nose rings, and they look nothing alike to me. Although she is a good-looking woman. When she put on the filter, tell me why she looked like a light-skinned Zeke. I was like, oh, I can never unsee this anymore. If you guys get a chance, go find her. Mama, I think is her.
So I'm looking at this week's matchups. Mm-hmm. There ain't much. I mean, I'm kind of excited about the Falcons-Panthers. I want to see if the Falcons can repeat and take out the Panthers on the road coming off a bye, but then that goes against my CMC MVP. So all that pretty much leaves for me.
You don't want to see the
Saints,
return of
Buccaneers.
Big.
Like, this is this is a bad week.
I would disagree. There's a returning quarterback that I'm anxious to see.
Oh, you want to?
There's a returning quarterback.
Gosh.
Big Dick.
Don't you do it,
Nick.
Hey man,
He's returning
hey,
back.
come on now, don't call him that.
Last time you saw him, touchdown pass was being thrown to my boy DJ Chark, a.k.a. Charknado. I'm anxious to see if Nick Foles can lead
AKA
them.
Baby Shark.
Can he lead them on a magical run again? Can he lead another team to a deep playoff run again?
No.
That's what I want to know.
No.
You got Dwayne Haskins officially named the starter for the Redskins for the rest of the year. No more pressure on him to perform.
What does he have to do? They're playing the Colts.
Dwayne Haskins? No, they were playing the Jets.
Nick Foles.
Oh, Nick Foles? What does he have to do? He's got to perform. The Colts defense is legitimate. This is a test. You're not coming back against the Pittsburgh Steelers trash defense that we saw last night out there. You're coming back against an actual playoff contending Colts team who can run the ball, who can shorten the game up, and who's played really
Is
good defense.
Jacoby playing?
I have no idea.
That matters.
Not to Nick Foles in that defense. I need to see him perform. I don't care if Jacoby
You don't
plays.
think Nick Foles is going to be rusty?
This is what I want to see because they're benching Gardner Minshew
As
mania.
you should. Nick Foles just got paid. He's the better. He's a Super Bowl MVP, right? Do you win MVP? Super Bowl MVP quarterback.
I agree. I want to see him play. And like, last time we saw him, he threw a touchdown pass as he got hurt. So
he got struck hard last time I saw him.
Yeah, and it was against the Chiefs. Come on, man. So I'm anxious for that. I want to see Dwayne Haskins perform with no pressure. Can he finally find a connection with his Ohio State teammate? The last times he's been inserted into games has been because of one, concussions midway through the game when he just had to get thrown in, and once because he had a week to prepare because Case Keenum wasn't ready. Things felt rushed, and he knew his job was about to get pulled back
against the Jets. This is what you're talking about.
Yeah, I want to see Dwayne Haskins actually put up a good game. This is an easy enough defense that he should be able to take care of business. I want to see it go down, and I'm hoping that he gets the job done. You said the Saints Buccaneers. I guess that's good.
I mean, possibly. I don't really like this week.
Does Mike Evans get shut out again?
No.
Because
No.
All right.
No.
You're very confident. Niners Cardinals. I told you the Niners were frauds.
They're not frauds.
I said that a one loss, 8-0, turning into 8-1 because the Seahawks endanger us could easily turn into 8-5 if they're not careful.
It was not because of Danger Russ, by the way. It was
sure
that defense.
didn't-
It was because when you, as I've already said, when you watch that Niners-Steelers game, not Steelers, Niners-Seahawks game, the biggest takeaway for the Seahawks, Jadeveon Clowney. It wasn't Russell. It was Jadeveon Clowney was the biggest takeaway.
I'm pretty sure I saw Russell making big plays in overtime.
I'm pretty sure I saw him throw INT, threw for 232 yards. This
And a touchdown.
game went, and a pick. This game went into almost the last seconds to the overtime, and you barely scratched over 230 yards. That ain't no MVP.
50 yards on the ground.
That ain't no MVP.
It's doing enough to get the job done.
It took nearly 5 quarters.
I cannot tell you that every single quarterback MVP threw for 303 every single game. Sometimes you got to win
In
it
a
ugly.
prime time game. You know what?
Against an undefeated rival.
Give CMC 5 quarters to do something.
I gave him 4 quarters. I gave him 4 quarters to win and 2 tries to win a game against Tampa Bay, okay, and against Green Bay.
But
All
Russell
the days he's
Russell
failing.
didn't win these games. That was that defense and that kicker.
Pretty sure he threw a touchdown against Tampa Bay in overtime last week, and then
Against
set up.
Tampa Bay, yeah,
Yeah.
he threw it again. If they would tell
CMC had a
CMC,
chance, he didn't get it.
man, that was a poor play call. As
Ron
you've already
Rivera.
said, Ron
Rivera.
Rivera, Norv Turner,
Yeah.
they're not great coaches.
Patriots Eagles was going to be a good game, and
Yeah,
I was
Patriots
going
are gonna win.
Of course they're gonna win.
Now I got dinner on the
because
on the
they're
line.
injured. Because I got nothing left in Philadelphia. Of course, their whole team's falling apart. No Alshon. Okay, no Jordan Howard's coming out. No Deshaun's out there. I'm not surprised Zach Ertz don't trip on the stairs going down to the game. This is embarrassing what's happening to the Eagles.
Hey man, you still got Nelson Aguilar and you got Miles Sanders.
Nelson Aguilar went to USC. Fight on. We'll see what he can do.
I mean, he got some brick hands, but
Well, when he touches, remember that game against Atlanta when he just completely short-armed it down the sideline?
Yeah.
For the game winner.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Awful. Your Rams have to make a comeback appearance. My personal and our local Los Angeles Rams have a chance to keep the win streak going and defend the NFC crown this week against the Bears.
What win streak are you talking about?
They got a couple good wins.
Who?
The Rams.
They just lost to the Steelers.
They're darn right. They did.
What are you
They've
talking
already
about?
lost. You know what? I only saw the victories in my head. I
Yeah.
remember when King Godfrey put the crown back on.
Did you not just hear my rant last
Yeah.
spot? What are you talking about?
They sure did.
What are you talking about?
Oh, then they are in more jeopardous situation than ever.
I'm so torn. The fan within me thinks we're going to get blown out. And at the same time, I can see us blowing them out because the Bears, if Mitchell Trubisky looks better than Jared Goff, you better not have anything nice to say about Jared Goff. The crown better be removed, and you better say it with me. Jared Goff is officially dumpster juice.
Well,
but you're still hot trash for right now, Jared. Still hot trash.
This is a big game. They got to win this one. If they go 12-4 this year, it's a good season.
What the? They ain't going 12-4.
They're 5-4 right now.
Uh-huh.
So if they go 12-4, it was a good year.
Man, they ain't going 12-4.
It's incredible. He's a fan. He doesn't even have any confidence.
I'm a realist.
Here's the last game. Speaking of you being a realist,
Talking about the Chargers Chiefs?
let me get to my realism. These dog Chargers.
Yeah.
These dog Chargers training in Colorado.
And your boy, Phillip Rivers.
I'm watching Keenan Allen's Instagram feed. They're at the basketball game. They're all sitting courtside in different pockets because apparently Chargers can't afford to get them all, front row tickets together. They got to eat a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit there. My man Melvin Gordon just rocking jeans because it's 20 degrees. Mm-hmm. There's a whole lot of nonsense happening out there, and it's really disgusting to see it to actually go down. I'm looking for the Chargers to show up. I'm looking for the Chargers.
You are.
Yeah. I think the Chargers show up in this game. I think they play really well because the Chiefs' defense isn't great. And unfortunately for me, I can see a situation where they quadruple team Tyreek Hill, and this comes out being like a Sammy Watkins and Mecole Hardman game.
I'm fine with Mecole.
I'm not fine with Mecole.
Why not?
Because I got Tyreek Hill against you this week, and I absolutely, positively need him to be great.
I started Mecole in one of the leagues. Is that against you?
No, it wasn't against me.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I just added him today.
Oh, no, unless it's in this league, and then maybe it's him against me.
It's my blessing team.
Oh, that's the one.
It's my blessing.
Your blessing team. And then it's Tyreek versus Mecole.
Well, I don't know.
Here comes Sammy Watkins. Here comes Sammy Watkins and Dante Robinson.
I could check right now. Just give me 10 Mississippi and we can.
The key here is that no matter what I need, the fantasy gods just want to tease me.
Yeah.
Mecole.
Mecole.
He's good for
Mecole. I'm starting Mecole.
He's good for 0 or 18. We'll figure out what he's doing.
I hope he puts up 36 against you.
Is Damian the official starter?
Yes.
So I could cut McCoy.
I don't know.
That he doesn't know. Unbelievable. This guy wants to get
Hey
coy.
man, I don't know. You run your ladder this week. I have no advice for you.
There's no advice.
I have no advice.
This is a good week of football coming up here.
It's all right.
This is a fantastic week of football. I'm excited.
Mm-hmm.
There's never a bad weekend of football. Let's just
I said it's all right. I ain't say bad. I said all right.
I think the games could surprise us this week.
Oh yeah, they're good. Yeah, it's gonna be close. It's not gonna be as surprising as watching Myles Garrett strike somebody with a helmet.
Any brouhahas this weekend?
I hope so.
All right, we hope so. We out. Thanks.